Hi, I'm Natalie Reiser and you're watching Sportsbook Review's 2014 World Cup coverage. Third and final round of matches will see Cameroon play Brazil. Now, considering Cameroon have failed to score thus far, they should be easy prey for competition favourites Brazil. Joining us now to preview this match from a betting perspective is Richard O'Hagan, sports writer and regular contributor for Sportsbook Review. Richard, welcome to the show.
Hi Natalie, nice to be talking to you again.
Now, Brazil, unsurprisingly, are big favourites to win, priced at 1.14. How will they play this match, though? Will they come out guns blazing? After all, they drew against Mexico 0-0, who, yes, were a stronger opponent to Cameroon, but they still need to prove themselves before the round of 16.
Yes, Brazil's problem really is twofold. First of all, the weight of expectation, playing at home and being expected to play in that very flamboyant Brazilian way that, in truth, they probably haven't played for many, many a year. The second problem is that their attack is basically Neymar and some bloke who's up there to trundle along alongside him. They've tried Fred, they've tried Hulk, who's been injured, although who should be back for this game, and they tried Joe in the later part of the game against Mexico. None of them made any difference. So their attack really is the Neymar show. And unless they can sort that particular problem out, I don't think they're going to score a whole load of goals against this team. Cameroon are weak. They're missing Alex Song in defence after he was sent off in the last game. But I still think Brazil will put a few goals in, but it won't be a samba show.
Yeah. Well, what about Cameroon here? Could we be looking at a clean sheet? After all, they have failed to find the back of the net.
I think there's a distinct possibility. In fact, I think there's a distinct possibility that the Brazilian defence will be spending a lot of its time actually in the Cameroonian half, because Cameroon have been very, very poor in this tournament. They've surprised me by just how bad they've been, and I certainly won't be backing on them to score here.
Okay, well, that's priced at low 1.57. Is that a risky bet at that price?
It's not the most generous odds, certainly, Natalie, and I would expect a clean sheet to be a little bit higher even against this kind of opponent. Unfortunately, you're suffering the weight of Brazil there. There's so much money being piled on them to do very well in this game. You're going to find it hard to find a decent bet anywhere.
Well, exactly. You know, Brazil are such strong favourites. So some of the value I found, I'll run you through it now. It's Brazil minus 2.5 on the Asian handicap line, meaning they'd have to win by 3 or more goals. Is that possible? That's priced at 1.95 with Bet365. Bearing in mind, Cameroon have conceded 5 goals so far, 4 of those playing Croatia.
Yes. One thing you can't read too much into is the number of goals that Cameroon have conceded so far, because, in fact, in that first game against Mexico, where they lost 1-0, Mexico were almost equally as bad. The jumping in performance for Mexico between their first 2 games was incredible. And you have to say also that Mexico's goalkeeper performed brilliantly against Brazil and really kept them in the game. So I think, yes, there's going to be goals. That looks decent to me. If you look in other markets and you look at the 3-0 Brazilian win, that's currently the favoured option at the moment at around about 6s pretty much across the board. So, yes, you can certainly look to take a little bit of value from that on the Asian handicap.
Would you say when you have such strong favourites, the value is harder to find on the betting markets?
It really is. You have to start looking into the far more esoteric things. So, for example, in this game, look at the number of yellow cards. Yellow cards have been trading low in this tournament. There's definitely been fewer dished out than there usually are, but it's Cameroon. They always pick up a yellow card. They quite often pick up a red card. You might want to look going overs on the currently 2.5, I think is the favoured at the moment. So go over 2.5 on that if you want to look for some value here.
What would you say the best value pick here is for this match?
My favourite bet for this match, Natalie, 4-0 to Brazil. Currently trading at 10s. I think if Croatia can score 4 against Cameroon, then Brazil certainly can.
Okay, so 4-0 to Brazil there. Richard O'Hagan, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Natalie.